The Last Man, Volume 1. Introduction. In 1818, amidst the historical allure of Naples, my companion and I embarked on an exploration that would lead us to an unexpected discovery. On December 8th, our adventure began with a journey across the bay to the ancient shores of Baiae. The sea, crystal clear and calm, revealed the underwater ruins of Roman villas, interlaced with seaweed and glinting under the sun, reminiscent of scenes from myth and legend. Our exploration took us through the famed Elysian fields and Avernus, amidst relics of temples and baths from a bygone era. The day, unseasonably warm, seemed more suited to early spring, filling us with a sense of wonder and tranquility. Our journey's highlight was the enigmatic cavern of the Cumaean Sibyl. Guided by torch-bearing Lazzaroni, we delved into the darkness. The torches cast eerie red light in the subterranean passages, their flames struggling against the encroaching shadows. Intrigued by a side passage, we inquired about exploring it further. The guides, hesitant, warned us of dangers, specters, and treacherous paths, but also mentioned that it led to the Sibyl's cave. My companion, intrigued and undeterred, decided to venture forth. "Shall I go alone, or will you accompany me?" he asked. Eager for discovery, I agreed to join. The path proved challenging, gradually narrowing and forcing us to crouch as we progressed. Despite the obstacles, our determination did not waver. Suddenly, our torch was extinguished by a gust of air, plunging us into darkness. Without the guide's resources to relight it, we had no choice but to feel our way back. Yet, in our attempt to return, we stumbled upon an ascending passage, faintly illuminated by a mysterious light. Climbing through this new route, we found ourselves in a series of passages and caverns, each leading higher and growing brighter. Finally, we arrived at a large cavern with a domed ceiling. An aperture overhead let in daylight, filtered through dense undergrowth, casting a solemn ambiance. The cavern was nearly circular, with a stone seat resembling a Grecian couch. The only evidence of life was a perfectly preserved skeleton of a goat, a testament to the cavern's hidden nature. Scattered around were leaves, bark, and a filmy substance, each inscribed with mysterious writings in multiple languages, including ancient and modern dialects. My friend excitedly noted, "This is the Sibyl's cave. These are Sibylline leaves." We realized we had uncovered a trove of prophetic writings, spanning from ancient times to our own. Overwhelmed by our find, we selected several pieces to take with us. In the days that followed, we returned to the cave, each visit uncovering more of the Sibyl's enigmatic messages. Back home, I dedicated myself to deciphering these leaves, finding solace and inspiration in their cryptic yet profound contents. These solitary endeavors connected me to a realm of imagination and ancient wisdom, offering insights into the human experience and the mysteries of our existence. Chapter 1. I hail from a small cloud-shadowed island, insignificant in the vast world yet rich in mental heritage. England, my homeland, now visits my dreams as a majestic ship, mastering the seas. In my youth, it was my entire universe. Standing on its hills, the land stretched to the horizon, the dwellings and toils of my countrymen marking it as the heart of the world to me. My life has been a testament to change's power over man's fate. This trait I inherited. My father was a man of immense wit and imagination, but lacking in reason and judgment. His life, initially obscure, quickly gained public attention, leading to the rapid loss of his small inheritance amid the lavish lifestyles of high society. Adored by the elite and even the young king for his vivaciousness, he was the star of every gathering. Yet, his uncontrolled impulses often led him into trouble, and his debts only grew. This popularity was fleeting. As his means dwindled, so did his royal favor. The king, initially supportive, began to distance himself under the influence of his new, austere Austrian queen. My father, sensing his decline, plunged deeper into extravagance. One poignant scene remains vivid in my memory. The king, once gentle, now stern, imploring my father to reform his ways. My father, touched by this kindness, promised change and received aid to clear his debts. However, that very night, he gambled it all away. Disgraced, he fled London, eventually succumbing to poverty in the solitude of Cumberland. His death left my mother, a gentle cottager's daughter he had married, penniless, and with 2 children. She waited in vain for royal aid that never came. Worn down by poverty and labor, she soon passed away, leaving us orphans. I was 5 years old then, barely holding on to memories of my parents. I felt different, superior to my caregivers, but didn't understand why. My childhood was spent as a shepherd boy in Cumberland, wild and free but yearning for more. I led my fellow shepherd boys in mischief, always the ringleader, enduring punishment and pain with a sense of heroism. This rough life honed my daring spirit, inherited from my father, but unchecked by society's norms. Yet, I had one duty I cherished, caring for my sister Perdita, 3 years younger. She, inheriting our father's traits, was a creature of deep thought and solitary habits. Her beauty was striking, her demeanor reserved, yet she lacked the affection she deserved, making her life as challenging as mine. Our paths were contrasting yet similarly isolated. While I craved action and company, Perdita found solace in her solitary world, lost in her dreams and wanderings. We both suffered under the weight of our lowly status, misunderstood and unappreciated. In this wilderness of life, I stood at a crossroads, poised to descend into further lawlessness. But at this critical juncture, a new influence entered my life, steering me away from the precipice and towards a gentler path. Chapter 2. I grew up far from bustling cities and the echoes of political upheaval. In my remote mountain home, such news was just a distant murmur. By the time I was a boy, England had seen significant changes. In 2073, the last king, a friend of my father, stepped down under peaceful pressure from his people, and a republic was formed. The former king, now the Earl of Windsor, received Windsor Castle and its lands as part of his new status. He passed away shortly after, leaving behind a son and daughter. The ex-queen of Austrian royalty had resisted these changes. She reluctantly stayed in England only for her children's sake, focusing on educating her son, Adrian, the new Earl of Windsor. She aimed to reclaim the lost throne through him. Adrian was 15, a boy deep in studies, rumored to oppose his mother's ambitions and lean towards Republican ideals. The Countess kept her family's matters private, raising Adrian in isolation. Then, unexpectedly, she decided to send him to Cumberland. Rumors swirled about her reasons, but it was clear that the Earl of Windsor was soon to grace our lands. The Windsors owned a grand estate at Ullswater, now being prepared for Adrian's arrival. The mansion and park were being restored to their former glory, which irked me. It brought back feelings of injustice and thoughts of revenge. My daily life lost focus, consumed by the arrival of the young Earl. I felt he would represent the injustices my family faced, descending upon us in triumph, while we suffered in poverty. I found myself drawn to his future residence, observing the luxurious items being brought in. The contrast between his opulence and my own meager state fueled my resentment. I believed his affluence was built on our misfortunes. Then, Perdita, my imaginative sister, expressed excitement about his arrival. I couldn't hide my bitterness. "You're happy about this?" I questioned sullenly. "Indeed, Lionel," she replied with enthusiasm. "He's a descendant of kings, loved and admired by everyone. They say his generosity and bravery surpass even his rank." I scoffed at her words, seeing them as ignorant of the Earl's true nature and our family's suffering. Adrian's arrival became a local event. Despite my resentment, I found myself among the throngs, a reluctant observer of his welcome. Frustrated and feeling betrayed by my own feelings, I fled to the mountains, cursing his name and vowing revenge. Adrian's fondness for the park's wildlife became known, and I saw an opportunity to act on my vengeful thoughts. My reckless attempts at poaching were soon noticed, leading to my capture and imprisonment. Strangely, Adrian himself ordered my release, which only added to my sense of humiliation and anger. Repeatedly caught and released, my animosity grew. But on one occasion, I was brought before the Earl himself. My appearance was wild, my hands stained with blood. I expected to face a proud, arrogant youth, ready with my retort. Instead, Adrian stood before me, a gentle, fair boy with an air of sensitivity. His calm demeanor and kind words disarmed me. He spoke of friendship and a bond between our families. His sincerity reached my heart. I was at a loss for words, torn between my long-held bitterness and the unexpected kindness he offered. "Come with me," Adrian invited, extending a gesture of friendship. "I have much to share with you." As we walked together, I realized it wasn't his nobility that overwhelmed me, but his genuine compassion and wisdom. He wasn't just the Earl of Windsor. He was a person of deep understanding and benevolence. In his library, we spoke of ancient philosophers and the power of love and wisdom. Adrian's descriptions painted vivid pictures in my mind, and I began to see a world beyond my own. That evening, he shared his family's history and his father's fond memories of my own father. It was a revelation to hear of the king's lasting affection for my father and his regret over our family's hardships. Adrian's words painted my father as a man of charm and wit, and his regret over the lost connection was heartfelt. This new perspective softened my hardened views. I felt reborn, seeing a world of intellect and emotion I had never known. My friendship with Adrian marked the beginning of a true transformation. He introduced me to a world of knowledge and philosophy, igniting a passion for learning within me. My ambition shifted from seeking revenge to pursuing wisdom and understanding. Despite my newfound love for knowledge, I struggled to share my excitement with others, even Perdita. She appreciated my stories but didn't share my deep connection to this new world of ideas. Our bond with Adrian was strong, though Perdita couldn't fully grasp the depth of his character and thoughts as I did. His presence brought peace and inspiration, helping me move past my turbulent past and look forward to a future of growth and understanding. Adrian's mother, the ex-queen, had ambitious plans for him, grooming him for power and influence. Yet, Adrian developed a love for freedom and republican ideals, much to his mother's dismay. His affection for Evadna, the Greek ambassador's daughter, only complicated matters. Their love was a secret, full of passion on Adrian's part but less so from Evadne. I doubted her feelings for him, sensing a lack of genuine love in her letters. Their relationship remained hidden from Adrian's mother, who eventually sent him to Cumberland to distance him from Evadne. But their separation only strengthened Adrian's resolve to be with her. His thoughts and conversations filled with her and her homeland. In my time with Adrian, I learned not just of academic subjects, but also of empathy, kindness, and the complexities of human emotion. His influence reshaped me, and I found myself aspiring to be more like him, embracing the values of compassion and understanding. Our discussions often turned to his parents, particularly his father's legacy and the ex-queen's ambitions. Adrian's admiration for his father and the lost friendship with mine was evident. Despite his mother's efforts to shape him into a ruler, Adrian's heart was set on freedom and love, ideals that clashed with her plans. His love for Evadne was profound, though I feared it was one-sided. Adrian saw their love as a sanctuary, a place of peace amidst life's challenges. But I couldn't help but feel uneasy about the future of this passionate yet seemingly unreciprocated love. In Adrian's company, I found not just a friend but a mentor who guided me towards a more thoughtful and fulfilling path in life. His influence was transformative, marking a new chapter where I embraced my humanity and sought to grow beyond my past. Chapter 3. Those days were some of the happiest of my life. My friendship with Adrian was a source of pure joy, mixing respect, admiration, and affection. We would spend hours discussing his plans for a better world and his deep love for Evadne. Sometimes, my wild side would emerge, but Adrian's presence always brought me back to a calmer state. After a year in Ulswater, Adrian went to London and came back with plans for my future. I was to start my own life's journey as a diplomat in Vienna. He believed this experience would prepare me for greater challenges ahead. And Perdita? She was to join Evadne, learning and growing under her guidance. I accepted these plans, determined to use all I would learn for Adrian's sake. Traveling to Vienna, I was filled with anticipation. I was eager to embrace adulthood and leave my youthful past behind. I imagined a life of achievement and joy, a stark contrast to the dreary tales of disappointment and hardship I had often heard. In Vienna, I was introduced to a world of diplomacy and social pleasures. The city's vibrant life fascinated me, I was drawn to beauty and charm, reveling in the joys of youth. But this happiness was shallow. I soon realized that the glittering social life lacked true connection and meaning. My time in Vienna left me with a sense of emptiness. I craved genuine affection and purpose. This void led me to reflect on my life and reignited my desire to return to England and be by Adrian's side. During this period, a fellow Englishman, Lord Raymond, rose to fame with his exploits in Greece. His ambition and charm captivated the public, stirring a sense of rivalry within me. I felt that his acclaim overshadowed Adrian's more noble pursuits. Rumors reached me about changes back home. They said Adrian had fallen into madness, a victim of his unrequited love for Evadne. Lord Raymond, meanwhile, was climbing the social ladder, possibly even aspiring to the throne. These rumors disturbed me deeply, compelling me to return to England and support my friend. Arriving in Windsor, I was struck by the beauty of the countryside. Perdita's cottage, nestled in the forest, was a picture of tranquility. Our reunion was emotional. We had both matured, and our childhood bond was now colored by our adult experiences. As we talked, Perdita shared the heartbreaking tale of Adrian's decline. His unshakable love for Evadne, coupled with his ambitious societal reforms, had set him on a collision course with disappointment. Raymond's return and Evadne's infatuation with him only added to his distress. Adrian's deterioration was a slow and painful process. His once clear mind succumbed to the weight of his unrequited love and shattered dreams. Perdita recounted how Evadne's departure to Paris had been a turning point. Adrian had followed her, but their final meeting only led to his deeper withdrawal from the world. Now, he lived in isolation, his whereabouts unknown. This news filled me with resolve. I had to find Adrian and stand by him, as I had silently vowed. The joy and simplicity of our past were gone, replaced by a complex web of emotions and societal pressures, but my dedication to my friend remained unwavering.